Hi, my name's Amber Archer and I am a maker of this reconstruction of the 1940 dinner dress found in Patterns of Fashion 2. I was drawn to this design due to my strong interest in early to mid 20th century women's wear and wanted to challenge myself by learning new skills in this project, specifically embroidery and beadwork. So this dress was originally an Elsa Schiaparelli design and features a large embroidered motif of lily flowers as its focal point. Schiaparelli was known for her extravagant avant-garde ensembles, so this garment was actually a little unusual in the kind of simple elegance of its design. The garment itself is made up of only 4 pattern pieces and is unlined, barring the organza used to interface the embroidery. So the fabric of the original dress is disputed. Some sources list it as being made of wool crepe, others say silk crepe, so I decided to settle on a viscose wool blend, which provided the perfect smooth, slightly textured drape to match the original. Obviously, the main element of this dress is the embroidered flowers. I've never done beadwork before and never embroidered to this kind of scale, so it's a little bit of a steep learning curve, to be honest. The Patterns of Fashion book that I was referencing doesn't actually include a template for the lilies, so in order to mimic the original as closely as possible, I made my own pattern through digitally tracing photos of the dress and scaling up the tracing onto a 1-inch square grid. The original dress uses metallic thread to embroider, but due to budgetary constraints, I actually went with embroidery silks instead. For the pearls, of which there are over 2,000 individual beads, I used imitation resin instead of glass ones. The use of couture finishing techniques was also a new skill that I learned for this reconstruction, and throughout this project I made sure to continually reference period methods of construction and finishings. I came across several extant garments of the late 1930s and early 1940s at various vintage and antique shops across London, and found it really helpful to be able to handle such items of clothing. I did many seam finishing samples to determine which would be the most suitable for use on this thick crepe fabric, and decided on overcasting the majority of seams, with the exception of the back waist seam, which was bound in the same silk organza as was used to back the embroidery. This was done to strengthen the seam, but also to reduce bulk at a point where many layers of fabric meet. The most challenging aspect of this project was definitely the embroidery itself. Although I carried out several samples on calico to gauge things like the thickness of thread that I should be using, the bouncy feel of the crepe fabric made it really difficult to stitch into and had to adapt very quickly to this unfamiliar material. Overall, I feel that my practice has improved a huge amount over the course of this project. I learned a great deal through this reconstruction, not only in terms of practical skills, but also improving and adapting the way in which I research for making.